We can always edit this part out, because, yeah, you're editing.
Yeah.
I have a real attraction to Hong Kong, but probably don't get on there because of
I don't know how much we want.
because of watching a lot of kung fu.
Oh. That's actually just a little bit,
Jackie Chan thing.
What do you mean?
just bring it down a little bit higher like that.
Bring it down
So that's my knowledge.
this way?
Other way.
Much like
Bring
my
it up.
knowledge of Japan is to food, is what it goes down.
Actually, would you mind standing at the pulpit? I'll stand at it. And you tell me how I look. Actually, don't tell me how I look.
I'm just more concerned about the audio. Yeah, I mean, you look fine. It's kind of dark. But, you know, it's just, I mean, I could turn the light on, but then it would, you get a light that shines like right on the screen, so.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know, do you want to step out, go on, and see if you can hear us talking, how the audio is?
I was,
Yeah, I'll go check it out right now.
Okay, cool, thank you.
which was cool. Service Employees International Union. I work for the Department of Health. And also was on the executive board of the Better Business Labor Council, so I also worked with union activities. Just being active on other things like different issues. Something I value myself when I was getting.
Jamie, would you mind standing at the front and talking for me?
Sure.
Please and thank you.
Huh?
So I was able to do that.
Testing? 1, 2, 3, testing? Are we live, or is it Memorex? Hmm? Hi, can you hear me?
I mean, when I was asking you, it's got a bit of a delay, but I heard me asking you, so. And with my softer voice, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so let's plug in the power, because I don't know how much, I mean, I charged it, but I don't know how much
Yeah, you can give me the name.
battery power is, and see if that affects.
Remember, printing is
Alright,
important.
so-
One mistake on my part, and you won't get the email. So printing is good.
Here we go.
So, two people wrote down emails on. So, book.
I'll put this here,
Mhm.
and then you can keep yours on.
Oh, okay.
And then we can plug this in there, so you're not.
Oh, okay. Well, this one, so what I will do in that case.
There's an outlet here, I can get another.
Oh, no, I've got stuff on the floor here.
Be dedicated to your profession.
Pretty much, yeah, it's an inside joke between.
Yeah, because any light you bring up is gonna block
Now
out
we
the
have to
screen.
explain it to them.
Huh?
The sound audio is good. Any light you bring up is gonna knock out that screen,
Basically, yeah.
which having that screen in the shot really does
Yeah,
help.
anytime if you want to be taken off, anytime, just.
I mean, I was thinking maybe getting a light and having it shine up, but then it would probably still interfere with the screen.
large circuit of 50 people. College, do it over about 15 days. Few a day. So I actually made it this month. The last 2 months I've made it. So it's been good. And I also found out how to set. The other thing I did was I was setting up all of the emails with everything in them. And to look at the list of maps and hit like
That's the quality. This is not bad at all.
Okay.
Scan at least the heading, block routes to, and just
I'm going to stop this for a moment.
set it up, except for
Oh,
we
that's
get
what.
two viewers.
the subject.
Oh, we do have 2 viewers? Okay, then I will not stop it.
Well, one is you, so.
Yeah. Well, only one is me. It's-
And I also found
Jamie, I'm gonna put your hotspot over here. It's introducing noise.
Oh, okay, let's go to one side. All right.
it's been a challenge. And what we saw at 60,000 Facebook.
All right. We good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need feedback.
Oh, my bad.
No worries. All right, well, I want to thank you all for coming. Sorry we're getting a bit off to a late start. I'm James O'Keefe. I'm captain of the Massachusetts Pirate Party. I'm always looking for someone to replace me, so I'm happy to do other things within the party if someone is really wanting to be captain, because I've been captain for a long time. But I'll continue.
But you're such a good captain.
I'm not convinced of that.
He
but-
wants to be part of the legend of the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Anyway,
Somebody-
okay. So we've got 12 minutes, if we keep to schedule, which I'd like to, we've got 12 minutes to talk about what has gone on since the last conference, which has actually been about 18 months. So again, just want to thank you all for coming. Thank everyone who's streaming, who's watching it. It was a little jury-rigged, but it seems to be working. Okay, great. Modern technology. All right, so where have we been? Okay, so this year we didn't run any candidates. And at being a party, that is one of our primary objectives, is to run candidates, and we did not. We had some trainings that had people show up, but none of those folks turned into candidates. So next year are local elections. It's not as sexy as getting the GOP out of both houses of the legislature of the United States, nor would it be as sexy as getting rid of the Democrats who are 80% of the legislature, replacing the 80% of the legislature in Massachusetts with pirates. But there's a lot we can do locally. Steve, for example, is a town meeting member and has worked with them to start a process of coming up with a ordinance dealing with surveillance. And when the city, when the police department says we want to put cameras everywhere, this group is putting in place rules that say, wait a minute, do we really need it? Is it going to be cost effective? B, is it going to be too creepy? And any number of reasons to put brakes on that. In terms of what the party has done, we, working with other folks, have started what's called Mass Mesh, the Massachusetts Mesh Network, to, when things came down and we saw the way net neutrality was going with the FCC, with the GOP is basically, we want to give more money to our corporate masters at the expense of average people trying to get access to the internet. We realized that that effort was going to be very difficult to win with a Republican Congress, and even with a large number of Democrats who are, in some cases, beholden to corporate interests, but most of the GOP in this case. So we've seen it with Freifunk in Germany, and there's a Detroit MeshNet and NYC Mesh. We got together various people to try and build a MeshNet in Massachusetts. And we've made a lot of MassMesh has made a lot of progress in coming up with the hardware and software to do that, using, and we'll talk about that later in the conference, when I hope will be showing up, to use Libra software, Libra Mesh open source free software to be able to take commodity Wi-Fi routers and build a mesh network as an alternative ultimately to the internet service providers we know and loathe. We had we've been doing some tests lately with what's happened recently with Kavanaugh's nomination. And so that's now more than ever an important set of skill that people need to prepare themselves for, unfortunately. And we also talked about using Signal, which is a free messaging, text, video, audio, anti-surveillance tool. And then the fundamentals of any security are just having good passwords and not using the same password everywhere. And so that was another topic. So, we've been doing things that aren't necessarily candidate related, and that has helped us to stay active and to protect people. So that's sort of, in politically, FOSTA got passed. In Europe, there was a bill to do basically an upload filter, link tax, getting rid of the right of panorama, which is just being